At one particular time, I did talk about I did say Terence Crawford.
Okay.
Now, but what are we rating these fighters on? What are we rating these fighters on?
Floyd Mayweather's eyeball test.
That works for
You're
me.
eyeballing these guys. You watch Terence Crawford. You know why he has his problem getting the other welterweights in the ring with him.
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back in a recent interview, dismissing Terence Crawford's place on the pound-for-pound list. But sports analyst Stephen A. Smith took the opposite stance, calling Crawford the best fighter alive today. Smith pointed out that in the four-belt era, Crawford has already proven his dominance by unifying all the titles and becoming undisputed champion.
Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this four-belt era,
Stephen A. Smith insists Terence Crawford is the top fighter in the world right now, the true pound-for-pound king of the four-belt era. At the same time, Oscar de la Hoya praised Floyd Mayweather as the best trainer he's ever worked with, adding that if Floyd ever stepped into the ring with Crawford, he'd adapt, reinvent his style, and remind everyone why he's considered one of the greatest.
Floyd, for me, is the best trainer I've ever had in my life. He would revitalize his style. He would make him a new fighter. That's how great Floyd is.
Max Kellerman weighed in, saying that at his peak, Floyd Mayweather's defense was unmatched, while Terence Crawford shines more on the offensive side. But in a clash like that, Kellerman believes defense often wins the day.
Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
Robert Garcia added that while Terence Crawford cemented his place in history by becoming undisputed in a prime-for-prime showdown, he would still give the edge to legends like Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. Even so, Garcia places Crawford firmly among the sport's all-time greats.
Never became undisputed. He's a 5-division champion, but never became undisputed. Never really followed that unification, stuff like that. So I think when it comes to accomplishments, I think he's already done more. In a fight, I probably still pick Mayweather. Both in the prime, I would probably pick Mayweather to win. Just like I would probably pick Pacquiao to win, both in the prime.
Ooh, to beat Crawford.
Yeah, I think so.
Prime for prime? Nice.
Yeah. But is Crawford one of the greatest of all time? 100%. There definitely he is.
Danny Garcia pointed out that with Floyd Mayweather being about 10 years older than Terence Crawford, a true head-to-head fight wouldn't make much sense. Still, he said an exhibition between the two would be exciting to watch and could be the perfect matchup for fans.
All right. I mean, they're not that separated in age, right?
I think Terence is 38. I think Floyd, I am not sure he's either 10 years older or 12 years older. I don't know if he's 48 or 50.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get the best Floyd, so I don't think it makes sense. Exhibition
would be crazy. Actually.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Exhibition would be crazy, actually.
Yeah, I think that'll make a lot of sense.
Errol Spence Jr. noted that Floyd Mayweather's sharp ring IQ and unmatched skills put him in a class of his own, which is why he considers Floyd one of the greatest fighters ever.
The difference, Floyd is, Floyd is different. I feel like he's the best fighter. I don't know about all time. He might be the best fighter all time. If not, he's close 2-3, and not by far. So it's just it's a little bit different things that Floyd does. And Floyd was a lot older when I sparred him. And it's just certain things that he does that, that's really tricky. Like the guy we get in the clinch, he was like squeezing my nose and so I couldn't breathe and stuff like that. So it's just certain things that he do in there. And just veteran stuff, just veteran all-time type stuff that he's doing in the most part.
He also added that while a clash between Crawford and Mayweather can only be imagined, Floyd's mental edge sets him apart, giving him an advantage few, if any, fighters could match.
I think I know that's just a fantasy matchup. Just
Man, I don't know.
I'm reaching, you know.
I don't get into all that.
Yeah.
I don't know who went out. Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd.
You know.
I don't know, man.
But for Floyd was the best work, just like mental games, everything.
Oh yeah, mentally, he by far I feel like he's the best. He's the best mentally.
Coach Bernie argued that if Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford had met in their primes, Floyd would have taken control. He said Mayweather's sharp jabs, crisp hooks, body shots, and airtight defense would wear Crawford down and allow him to dominate in the later rounds.
Technically speaking, just looking at, two fighters, you got Floyd and you got Crawford in their prime. Who you picking?
Can we all give an opinion on that?
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah, I got an opinion on that too.
Coach, what you think?
I'm listening to you, Rep.
Floyd versus a prime Mayweather. We can go Pretty Boy. We can go Money May versus Terence Crawford in his prime. Who we got?
I think Money Mayweather shut Crawford down. He would have bored him to sleep like he do these fighters.
Yeah.
He would have jabbed him, hooked him, sticking him in the body. You know what I'm saying? And then when the fighters swing back, Floyd nowhere to be found. So mentally, they're draining.
Yeah.
And about the 6th or 7th round, that's when you start picking up, putting the combination together. Money.
MMA analyst Luke Thomas pointed out that Terence Crawford's rise came later in his career, yet he sees him as one of the sharpest defensive fighters ever, able to track down opponents and shut them down no matter where they move in the ring.
Problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just insane.
Ryan Clark said Floyd Mayweather was the defining fighter of his era, overwhelming opponents with unmatched skill and mental toughness, and standing as the ultimate symbol of dominance throughout the 2000s.
If I say that, Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it right, the best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough. Floyd's not a bad man, but there was domination inside that ring we saw this week.
He added that Terence Crawford has now proven his own greatness, decisively defeating stars like Errol Spence and Canelo, showcasing not just his courage, but also his elite skill.
No fear in him in the way that he's attacked, gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was Errol Spence. We realized just how great he was. Canelo cemented him on what is the two-headed monster that marks the greatest of the 2000s. Floyd Mayweather is on that, and Bud Crawford is right next to him. I don't think we have to pick on who's better. I think they both dominated their era.
Max Kellerman also noted that while Floyd Mayweather's resume is deeper, Terence Crawford has displayed a greater willingness to face anyone who steps into the ring with him.
Because, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. That makes a difference to
Jeff Mayweather highlighted Floyd Mayweather's win over a young Canelo Alvarez as proof of Floyd's brilliance in the ring, while also noting the clear potential Canelo displayed early in his career.
We remember, Canelo at that time was a razor thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. CJ Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw, and then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 21? 23? 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game, obviously.